everyone. Now, the due date is this Friday for proposal, and I do care about two most of the important things, which is the literature review and the methodology, because all the other parts of proposal you can deduce it or result it from these two things. So when I am coming to this is my approach. This is how I am doing research, by the way. So before we have like cards, when I have research, I will put my questions, I will put my aims, objectives, okay, in front of me, and start reading that research. So when I see something related to the question 1 or question 2, I will write it like question 1 on that card. I will write the research reference, okay, and then take the quotation and put it on that card. This is before, okay. Then I'll put it in the envelopes. Each question, like question 1 is the envelope, so I put all cards in there. And then when I finish with that, I will have like many envelopes, like one for question 1, one for question 2, one for question 3, one for aim 1, and so on to the objectives. And then when I'm trying to write the literature review, first of all, I have to start with the background about the subject in general, okay, which you can get it from any resource. But the idea that I wanted to narrow it down to the research questions. So I will go to the question number 1. I have maybe 5-6 cards. Like I read like 60 references, but only 5 or 6 references related to that question 1. So I put these cards on the table and read it all. And when I read it all, I will have like a story on my mind to make like a paragraph, to construct a paragraph. When I construct the paragraph, I don't think about the resources. When I start writing, I know this idea is supported by research, maybe number 2 and number 6. So I put it as an index. I said according to, let's say, Lewis 2023 and Adam 2002, okay, mentioned that, okay. And then I'm going to the next statement to complete the idea of the paragraph. So each question can represent one paragraph in your literature review. This is how the professional. Now, here in digital world, we don't have these cards. So what I am using the Excel sheet, okay, or maybe table. So what I'm doing the Excel sheet, and I said, this is the reference number, or you can number it, you can put it as a Harvard referencing, okay. So let's say this is Roger 2021. This is one of the references. What I'll put here the questions, and maybe the question 1 and aim 1 and objective 1 all doing the same thing, like talking about the same idea. So I can put it in one column, and I said question 1 plus aim 1 plus objectives 1 in here. Maybe I have only question, maybe there's no direct relation with the aims and objectives. Maybe I have aim 3 and question 3. Here I have, and so on. And then maybe I have here objective 4, and whatever you put it in the suggestions, and keep the rest free, because sometimes you are developing your questions or your objectives or your aims while you are reading the research. Like when you are reading research, oh, I did not put this question, this is very important. I have to search about that one, okay? The most important things is the gaps at the end. Gaps is very important. So you have to mention what's the gaps that each research had. Okay. Now when I'm going to the question 1, let's say this is Roger, this is Adam, okay. This is maybe Reese 2019, and so on. These are the references that I have. So I'm going to this, and see what's in there mentioned in this category. And I will write it here. I'll put the quotation and put the page where it's mentioned on that research. The other quotation, and then the page. Other quotation, and then page. Maybe it's mentioned, maybe it's not. If it's not mentioned, let's say there is nothing related to the question 2, make it X. That's it. Not mentioned any question 2. Here, maybe this research, nothing with the question 1. Maybe here we have only one quotation and page something. Okay? In this case, when you arrange it in this way, take this column, okay, put it, let's say, in the Word or whatever, and print it, or put it in different document, and see that those quotations, how they are talking about this, because this is the starting point. You will start with the background in general, but this is the first paragraph when you are going to your subject, specialized subject. What they answered the question 1, how they answered, okay, or the aim 1, because maybe the, as I said, question 1 and aim 1 and objectives 1 is all together, okay, how they answer it. So when I have these words and read it, I will have like idea. I said, oh, I can talk about this point in this way, and make it only one paragraph. Each column here represents one paragraph of your literature. So it will be the one paragraph in here, and then you are going smoothly to the next question, going smoothly to the third question, and so on, to the objectives. If you wanted to make it like differentiated by questions, objectives, and aims, that's fine. If you wanted to go with these details, even if you are repeating something, it's not professional, but for your stage, I can accept that. For publishing, it's not acceptable, but for your stage now, I can accept that, okay? So you can go with, let's say, make it like questions in the beginning, aims, and then objectives. Because what you are going to do, it's always to, when you are reading any research, you are always comparing with your questions. What you wanted to find, because the research question is this what you are going to do. And then you will get, this is one paragraph here. This is, let's say, one paragraph. This is another paragraph, third paragraph, and at the end you have to tell me about the gaps. And gaps can be more than one paragraph. Okay, because each research has gaps. Also, what you need to mention like weaknesses. Actually, when you are talking about the gaps, actually you are talking about the weaknesses and the strong points of that project. So actually, this one and this one is all feeding the gaps. Because when you are talking about the weaknesses, mean there's some gaps in there. When you are talking about the strong point, you can use it as a reference to support your data later. Okay, it's strong point, that if you get like a data. This is how we are writing the literature review. Did you understand this, or you need to explain it again? I analyze each research according to the questions, aims, objectives, weaknesses, and gaps. Okay? And each column can represent a paragraph. Maybe 2 columns, 3 columns, they are talking about the same idea, so you can make it one paragraph. And I gave you a research, which is the literature review research. I put it on the group chat, and I put it, I think, on the classwork. I'm not sure, but definitely I sent it to you. Like an example how the researchers started talking about the literature review. Starting with the idea, I supported with 3-4 references. Okay, this is how we are talking about the literature review. This is the professional way. Can you use the AI for this? Yeah, why not? Like, I will upload this to the Copilot, let's say, the reference one. And I said, what's the relation of reference one to the question one, which is this, to this question? Pick the quotations related to that one. It's not perfect, not good. I'm not recommended that this one that much, but if you want to speed up the things, because we have only like 4 or 5 days, 4 days I think, to submit. If you want to speed up so you can get this quotation. You have to be sure that this quotation is there, because AI coming sometimes with the hallucination. They will tell you that something, but that thing is not on the research. You have to be sure where it is. So ask AI about where is the quotation and where is the page of that quotation, so you can find it easily. Okay, and search for it. This is one of the methods that you can use AI as guidance if the research very big, you don't have time to read these things.
Excuse me, sir. So you said the quotation. Is it the topic of the subject or what?
Quotation mean there he start talking about that one from this word to this word about the question one. Take that one, copy it, and put it on the table, and mention the page exactly, because you mentioned the research in already, but you wanted to mention the page in the research where that quotation is mentioned for your reference. So when you are come back, you will know where is that. Okay. So when you have this, now you are taking each column alone and put it on other, let's say, Word document, that column. Make it big, you want to print it, that's fine, and see what they are talking about question number one. Okay, which research they are talking. We are, let's say, analyze like 20 research. Only 4 or 5 research of these 20 research talking about question number one. That's fine. Yes?
So on the table, the question number one, you don't need to write the question on the table.
It's better to write it as it's an Excel sheet, so just write the question for yourself. This is not for me. This sheet is not for me. This is the draft for you. This is how you are collecting information for each paragraph of your, and then you are going to take that column to construct the paragraph. I need the paragraph. The red one, I need it. I don't need the analysis. This is yours, your draft.
So you don't need this thing.
I don't. This is my approach. This is what I am doing when I am doing a research. When I am doing a research, I published last year research. Okay, so when I'm doing that research, I do this. I make a table. I have questions in my head to answer. Okay, and by the way, keep some columns free, because when you are reading the other research, you are developing your research question as well. So sometimes you add questions, sometimes you are deleting questions. When you see the question, it's well answered from the other research, why you are asking. Because in research, we try to answer unanswered questions. Okay? Normally. So sometimes I remove some questions, sometimes I update questions, sometimes I add new questions when I am reading the literature review. And this is the beauty of research. You will be specialist on that field. You are the one that you are understand that research very well. No one in the world can understand your research like you, or that field, that very narrow field. You will be the only one in the world that you have the full knowledge of very narrow field of that thing. Okay, and this is how words work. Okay, everyone has his own knowledge on very narrow thing, that he knows everything about that very small, narrow knowledge. Clear?
Clear, but in writing the paragraph.
Yes. Now, let me go on. Can I take this table and put it on the, let's say, Copilot? And I said, please make a paragraph of this. I'm not recommend this, by the way, but if you have problem of how to construct things, and take that table only, this column only, and put it on the, let's say,